Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett, and my guest today is one of America's sweethearts, Patrick McDonald. You know Patrick from Smosh and Dropout, and from his delightful improvised podcast, Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. Patrick has been a huge part of the LA improv scene for years, and I think this might be one of my favorite episodes. He is so fun to do bits with, but also just comes up with the best insights and metaphors. We stumble onto a tangent about jokiness in improv that I think you'll find really clarifying and helpful, or at least I did. And in part 2, we deep dive into the world of internet comedy, and he shares a writing trick that he used to write a play recently that I found fascinating and I hope people out there use themselves. Part 2 is for subscribers only, but please become a subscriber. It is how we pay our guests and how we keep this show going. Just go to yesalso.supercast.com. And once you become a subscriber, make sure you become our close friend on Instagram at yesalsopod. And then keep an eye on our stories where we will let you know who our guests are ahead of time and you can submit them questions directly. For more Patrick, check out his podcasts, AOAOAOA and Having a Day. And with that, let's go to Patrick. Patrick, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so stoked.
Gosh. Where do you want to start?
Oh my gosh, where should I? Oh, I keep saying, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's so funny is like I have this thing about, I've been trying to stop being so oh gosh, oh golly is what I call it.
Oh.
Where it's like, so I keep doing that, but it's like a reset. I'm trying not to be like that anymore. Yeah, I'll just go into meetings and rooms and be like very much like, wow, oh gosh, oh golly, like what a wonderful place to be. And it's like, no, I'm way too old to be acting like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was endearing for a while to be like, oh, is this how cameras work? Like very much like out of town person who's glorifying Hollywood.
You just arrived off the Greyhound bus with your suitcase full of dreams.
And I'm like, oh God, look at the big city lights. Yeah, and that's not.
Gee whiz, I get to go into this meeting?
Yeah, exactly. And they don't want to hire those people anymore.
Right.
At my age, they want to hire the people that know how to do it and already see the flaws.
So now you have to find a new character that is also inauthentic.
Yeah, cut the shit guy.
Let's get to brass tacks.
Cut the shit. That's what I'll say as soon as I walk into a meeting. Man, where should I start?
So we just do that meeting really quick. All right, Patrick, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, cut the shit. What are we doing here?
Oh, we were going to hear pitches from you about potential to give you a development deal, maybe.
Great. Then why are you talking? I think that would work in some ways.
I think it would, yeah.
Circles.
Now, but the oh gosh, oh golly character, if we can call it that.
It's a character,
but it feels genuine to you, or it feels like you have such an earnest spirit.
Thank you. It's funny, it is I wasn't being that for the camera just now. That wasn't like a thing, but it was me catching myself. Maybe it's not a character. Maybe it's like a realization that person isn't necessarily like, he needs to listen a little bit more. He needs to grow up. The oh gosh inside of me. But maybe I don't want to ever cut that out.
Yeah.
I think I've always been chronically genuine in a way that has burned me.
How has it burned you?
I think I grew up in Texas. I was like, a closeted queer kid. I didn't come out till I was bi. I didn't come out as bi till I was like 27. And I think I was just very much loved things. Very much was like. Excited about things, but I was a kid that was like in a football town trying to talk to people about Cheers. Like I remember seeing in 5th grade, my mom showed me Singing in the Rain, and I went back to school and being like, can anyone talk to me about Singing in the Rain? This little 5th grader in rural Texas being like, my life has changed. That is blowing my mind. Singing in the Rain is unbelievable. And I had an English teacher named Miss Lemser who basically sat down and let me talk to her about Singing in the Rain. And God bless her.
What a lovely lady.
Incredible lady. Yeah. And we love her. And she actually, I think about her a lot because she was definitely somebody that inspired. I had these amazing teachers that when the whole a group of these Texas kids didn't understand me, I feel like they always spotted me and supported me in different ways. When I was in 4th grade, I had my teacher, Miss Dorsey. I found the play version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at Barnes & Noble, and I brought it to my teacher and I said, can we do this? And she was like, I guess. And she put on a whole play for me.
Wow. Wow.
And I was Willy Wonka, and I got to do it, and I was like so excited. I knocked over all the boxes that were supposed to be machines when I would play with them and stuff like that. But it was like, I felt so enabled by my teachers, which was so... I look back and I'm like, that's so lucky. That's literally like Plinko of like landing in a class completely random and hoping you get the right teacher. So.
All the football kids that are your classmates are like, we have to fucking play what?
I'm a fucking Oompa
Loompa. You want me to wear a green wig?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But I feel like I was always surrounded by people that would always say like, never change, always be yourself. And I realized they're saying that because they were saying, you're about to get ridiculed and mocked, and there's like this bright light inside of you that like I think isn't right here, but hold on tight, and if you can keep being that and don't get bitter and don't hide and all that stuff, like I look back and I feel very grateful that I had those people.
Yeah, thank God they shepherded you and recognized what was special about that, instead of being like, hey, you got to change immediately. At least they weren't cut the shit people,
exactly.
You know.
They were enabling me, oh gosh, oh golly.
Yeah. That's great. While you were growing up, did you have an eye on entertainment? Were you wanting to get into comedy at a young age, or did that come later?
I was obsessed. My mom told me recently that I had a keyboard. I used to play a keyboard. That was actually my first screen name, for the record. Keyboard 172, because I played the keyboard, which is a crazy screen name.
Wait, how old were you when screen names hit the scene?
Like maybe 9 or 10 or 10 or 11. So I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I used to have this keyboard that had sound effects, and my mom said that she used to be able to hear me like say jokes and then press the laughter sound effect on the keyboard.
Busted.
I know. Or the applause sound effect. I would like do things and I'd like hear the applause by myself in my room, which is so embarrassing. But I was like obsessed with TV, and like I remember getting a bunch of my friends at 12 years old. I had a video camera that was one of those VHS video cameras.
Oh yeah.
So I would record. Recording in order.
Right.
And
same. I was that person. We had a camera with the over the shoulder like giant box one. Yeah.
Yes. It was the best.
You had to be really quick with setting up your next take, because if you could pause the camera and it would be a clean edit as long as you stayed on the pause.
Yes.
But it was like 30 seconds or a minute or something, the camera would like shut off from the pause and restart, and it would like back the tape up a little bit, or you would like try to find your spot and then there would be a blank spot. So if you didn't want that awful cut, you had to just be on it, run to the next room.
Can I say that's one of my favorite things in the world? I'm just realizing is learning a machine or learning the mechanisms of something where you're like, at 7 seconds it turns into this, so you have to do it like this. I feel like that's something you have to learn when you're growing up and you have like bad equipment or anything.
Right.
But it's thrilling to be like, and when the light turns, when it blinks, it means that it's dying. So you know that. Like,
also,
it's like,
if you're going to have a name like Keyboard 172, you got to fucking know how that keyboard works. You got to know the machinery of that.
You got to know how it works.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I made a bunch of my friends make a Cheers parody named Salutations when I was 12. Again, nobody else was watching Cheers.
Salutations.
And I thought Salutations was hilarious.
Really funny, yeah.
Thank you so much. And we were all sitting on the patio. I had like a back patio that I used to just make it. It was like a oneer. Like everyone was like a different bartender, and I was doing some really specific parody of Carla or something. And nobody else even watched Cheers, but I was like so into like I wanted to do this.
Yeah. How did you find Cheers if no one in your world was watching it?
I think my family watched a lot of sitcoms, and I watched a lot of sitcoms. I was really obsessed with, like, I think Seinfeld and Friends, and we were always like, we were just always watching them. But I don't remember how I fell into Cheers. In 7th grade, my uncle had lived in Connecticut, and I flew out to visit him because they had tickets to like The Lion King for my first Broadway show. And then we went to Boston. I was like, can we go to Cheers? So I have a picture of like chubby old me, like at 7th grade in front of Cheers, being like, I'm at Cheers. But I don't know. I just was out of time, I think, over there. I was a little child out of time in Texas, and I like just really fell into TV. I used to read like the books of like I used to have entire books that just like named all the categories of every Oscars of all time, and I just would read them like they were novels.
Oh,
I would just like look into old things and just watch things over and over and over again.
Your dad's like, I'm worried that Patrick's addicted to porn. I see a stack of magazines in his bed and he pulls the sheets off and it's all just like Oscar winners. He's like, oh, different
Variety.
problem.
I have a Hustler covering up a Variety magazine. But it is so funny. I think about that too. My parents are like so supportive, and they've always been dying to support me once they show me, once I show them what they can support me in. That's always been what it is.
Oh,
and
that's lovely.
There was like this really sweet time in college. I was back from college, and we were like at Thanksgiving, and we were watching TV or football or something, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to throw a football around. And my dad disappeared, and 20 minutes later, he was back with the football. He went and bought a football. It was like the thing he'd been waiting for his whole life. So we threw a football around because I had a whim.
What you didn't see is he didn't buy it. He went down to the storm shelter. Blew the dust off of a dust-covered glass box, broke it with a hammer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, okay. So
we had all that. I was this kid that was like up, in the summers watching Cosby Show, rest in peace, to enjoying the Cosby Show, and watching just reruns and stuff, obsessed with that in college, reading autobiographies of like Milton Berle and Sid Caesar. I was just obsessed with old Hollywood, the way joke structures were. I also think I was bracing myself because I wanted to be here and I wanted to be in LA, but I had no clue how to get here.
Yeah.
And I knew it was hard, and everyone told me it was hard. And so I was like, this feels impossible, and I need to know as much as I can know before I come out here.
You and I were very similar, cut from the same exact cloth.
Yeah.
So what was your trajectory? You went to Emerson, right?
I went to Emerson College, yeah. And that's a funny thing about that when it comes to improv, is that Emerson is, I don't know if you've had Emerson alums on this. I'm sure you have at some point. Then there's a chance that you would know that the comedy clubs at Emerson are basically the frats. So there's 7 to 8 when I was there.
I haven't gotten
you don't
into
know
this.
this.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So there's like 8 comedy clubs. And now I think there's like 13 or 14. But they're all different types. And so it literally is like the sorting hat a little bit, because one of them is mostly digital. One of them is only sketch and then has writers and actors. One of them is sketch, but you are a writer and an actor at the same time. One of them is improv. One of them is short form improv. And so I remember auditioning, and I really wanted to get onto the long form improv thing, because in high school, I can't believe I glazed over this, I was part of the high school short form improv team, which was funny because it's like you hear different things about short form in high school, and it's almost like when it kind of got into the boonies, it like mutated and changed, and it's like a game of telephone. So the improv group was called Pipin' Hot Bowl of Comedy. I was the president of it for 3 years, and we did 2-hour short form shows with an hour with a break in the middle.
One game per show. It was 1 2
Party
hour.
quirks for an hour, and then we take a break and we do party quirks again.
Yep.
And we wore referee jerseys.
All of you.
All of us did. So comedy
really
sports,
lost in translation. It's like on the left team we have the refs, and on the right side of the stage we have the other refs.
Yes. So it was like such a mess. There was no team. We were like a group, and we'd practice every week, and we'd have a monthly show. And I was in charge of it. When I was a sophomore, I went to like a Second City intensive when I was in high school. And because I had a sister that lived in Chicago. And it's like I brought all these games back.
Remember in Fraggle Rock, Uncle Traveling Matt, who like went out in the world and would send postcards back about all the things.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were the
this
Uncle
one's called Park Bench.
Right.
Yeah, it's like stuff like that.
It's so funny. That's so relatable. Like the one person who takes one class becomes the guru. It's like anything they say is gold.
Yeah.
Like, well, Patrick knows because he went to an intensive.
Exactly. Well, he talked to somebody who talked to somebody who knows someone from the Sonic commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's
Right.
like so huge.
They're real.
They're real.
Those guys are real.
Those guys are
they
real.
have
And those
names.
guys, and that's actually improv too. Did you know that?
Did you know?
A point.
Yeah. To a point.
To a point. To a point, actually. And that's what I wanted to talk about. No, but
The rest of this episode is about that.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah, they say TJ's an improviser. I have a bone to pick.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
To a point.
So did you make up the names of those products you're saying? That's pretty interesting.
Huh. Oh, really? They didn't have any requirements of information you had to include in that spot?
That's something.
Huh. You
doesn't
just
sit right.
found it on the day, huh? The extra pickles thing. You just found that?
That's so interesting. That was there. And they had the pickles on hand. Oh, that's very interesting.
Interesting.
How convenient.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I just think it's interesting and convenient is all that I think. Yeah.
Just like, I can't believe all that lined up.
I mean, lucky you. Wow, you must be truly the luckiest, most destiny-riddled improviser I've ever heard of.
That's actually crazy.
Huh. Wow.
So anyway.
No, I guess you do deserve that job. No, it's good. It's good it went to you.
No, it's great. I mean, I was 13 when you were casting, and I wouldn't have gotten it, but it's great. You know, it's like awesome. I was a baby. Anyway, no. So I went into college thinking I was like a hot shit improviser because I ran our improv program for 3 years.
Yeah, every single time you played, you were a rep.
I literally called the shots.
Yeah, you knew your shit. Clearly, you had a stripy shirt on.
So I went in and I got onto a team called Jimmy's Traveling All Stars, and that was a sketch team. And I saw them in the showcase, and I actually didn't like them, and I thought that I was not their vibe. But they were into me, and they cast me, and then I was like, okay, that's great. I'm still auditioning for other teams. They're like, oh, okay. So then I went to the improv team. I didn't get on the improv team.
Pause.
Yeah,
I need a timeout.
Yeah.
So we're in the sorting hat process.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a showcase. I want to know the mechanics of this.
Let me tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
So there's a comedy night showcase where for all the incoming freshmen, the comedy troops perform in a big showcase to show you what they do.
All 8 troops.
All 8 troops.
Yeah.
So you get to see who everybody is.
You're sizing them up.
Are
all the freshmen arriving at Emerson hungry to be in a comedy thing?
A large amount of them are.
How did that happen?
Huge amount of them.
How did this college become comedy school?
Well, there's a couple famous alumni, one of them being Dennis Leary, well, one of them now being Bill Burr.
Okay.
He wasn't that big last time. One of them being Jay Leno, one of them being Henry Winkler.
Okay.
And so there's a bunch of...
fine.
But and then there was this whole group, actually. So, spoiler, I got into Jimmy's Traveling All-Stars. I didn't want to be in it. I got not into the improv group. I stayed in Jimmy's Traveling All-Stars. But then I met this huge swath of improvisers and comedians that have since gone and done like amazing things, like Steve Basilone and James Kirkland and...
Good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing. I met him when I was 19 because they came back for an alumni show. And I met Jen Zaborowski, who's somebody else that I love. And I actually teach at Emerson now, and she's a co-teacher with me. So it's weird. And then I was like an assistant to her husband for a while. Like it all became very layered and connected. But she's super funny and amazing director and producer too now. But what's weird is that like there's always now been this breeding ground for comedy people to be at Emerson, and there's even a comedy BFA major, which I teach a class at Emerson now in digital comedy content. So I teach, like, my students have to make 3 TikToks a week. I teach them how to build Patreons and make YouTube pitches, and they record their own podcasts and stuff like that.
That's wild. Yeah. And that's at the Emerson out in LA.
Center,
There's like an adjunct. It's the same school, but there's a campus out here.
Basically like study abroad, but you're studying LA.
Right.
Yeah.
What a dream.
It's very cool. But I think there is just this breeding ground at Emerson for like comedy has always been part of it.
Yeah.
And when I was at Emerson, there was also a bunch of other amazing people who are doing incredible things. The first people that came to mind are like Julia Madison, Noel Carey, who made a musical for this group Chocolate Cake City, which is the funniest thing in the world too when you start talking about like all the drama of the troops. It's like, well, this is pathetic. Didn't like Chocolate Cake City, but Dribbling Traveling All-Stars had a beef with Emerson Comedy Workshop and the girly it's like so funny.
It all seems so minuscule now, and at the time you're like,
it was like everything.
Yeah. And also, to have serious and dramatic beef saying the most ridiculous names, like, well, I didn't get on Bouillon Cube, so what am I supposed to do? Just go to Grandma's Lumpy Tits? I can't.
But it's so serious.
Yeah,
it's so serious. Yeah.
I'm a butthole soup girl.
I'm like literally butthole soup.
I'm literally like, that's my DNA. Why would I go to Chowder Collective?
It does not make any sense. Like, I am not gonna ring true at Uncle Slappy's Good Times Silly Town. It's not gonna work for me.
No,
I'm not a Silly Town gal. Like, it's not who I am. But yeah, so I got onto Jimmy's, and then.
But look, I want to.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
yeah. I'm throwing a lot at you. No,
it's
tell
okay.
me
I
everything
just need
you
to iron out what's happening here.
I need to know what's going on.
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
You go to a comedy showcase, you see what everyone's about, and then is it like fraternities where you choose who to rush? Like, you choose which ones you want to audition for based on the goods that they showed you?
Yes.
And then you audition for as many as you want, but then they select you. Like, what if more than one troupe selects you?
So you audition for all the ones you want to get onto, all the ones you're interested in. I think I went to a bunch of them, and then because I was on the other side of this too.
Everything except Dinosaur Armpit.
Yeah, I did Dinosaur Armpit. I didn't agree with their politics. And then you either get on them or not. It's generally agreed that you can only be on one team, but there's a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of conversations. When I was the president of Jimmy's, I think we did ours a little earlier. It's like a sneaky way of getting in
first round draft picks.
Yeah, first round draft picks. And so they are cool. I think what I did is not what people normally do, which is like, thank you so much for the offer. I'm gonna still be auditioning for other people.
So you were cut the shit guy even back then.
Shit guy then.
Okay, cut the shit. I have 6 more appointments today. Let's just slow our roll.
I love that you love me. I'm going to be pursuing other things as well. Like, it's like so.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I've been watching a lot of Love Island. It's this is my experience too. Exactly. And I need to explore based on.
So we're all here for the experience. And I feel like if I lock myself into here, I'm actually losing out the experience.
Yeah. Like, I cannot close off right now with Jimmy's Traveling All-Stars. Yeah. I need to explore other connections.
Bubble Robot, can I steal you for a chat?
Can I steal you for a chat and soul ties, Bubble Robot?
Whoa.
No, I'm still exploring finger soup, but no, it is a meaningful connection. I'm just not closed off yet.
Well, you and Dr. Lettuce were really kicking. Dr. Lettuce made you a pancake with your initial.
I mean, it's cute. Damn, what a map over. I could live there all day.
Me too.
But for the benefit of the listeners, I will move on slowly. Okay, so now I understand. So the Sorting Hat is a little of column A and a little of column B.
A little bit.
It's you interested in them, but they have to pick you. And there's no world where like a team that you didn't audition for would be like, hey, because they're not seeing your audition. So so there's a little self-selection happening.
But there's also a little bit of they're more of a Jimmy's. They're more of a this. They're more of a that.
Like the powers that be, the council of the elders from each group. Like,
which are people who are no longer older than 22.
Sure.
Because they're the seniors.
Yeah, they are, and possibly in some cases 20. Yes. And they're putting down all of their authority, but they have a real sense of the vibe of each group. And when a freshman walks through the door, they're like, oh, she just reeks of fanny pack summer.
Yes.
Like we're taking her.
They're so us.
Yeah.
So we're going to take them.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And then, on the other side of it, once you're in it, it is this beautiful, like, everyone has their own lore. Like, Jimmy's has like these secret things that they tell you. I mean, it is like literally like the frats, where it's like you learn about the story of why it's named this. And there's stuff like that. And then there's these parties, and
This sounds like a dream.
It was amazing. It was so exciting and cool. And I like made some of my best friends there, and you start collaborating and working together, and you find some amazing stuff because you have these like monthly or seasonal shows. You're getting together. I think my first show I was ever in is called Dumbledore is Gay and Died.
Yeah.
Classic, 2009. But they loved...
It's a great name, actually. Yeah.
It's pretty good. There was also like, they loved their puns. So the one they were really proud of before I got there was Can I Jazz on Your Stomach? And it was like a saxophone player, you know, because it's very funny.
It's very funny.
But I will say why I wasn't attached to them is because they were a bunch of people who were like too cool for school. It was like 7 seniors and they cast like 3 freshmen. And they loved like everything. They were like obsessed with like literally everything was shitty, everything was stupid, everything was meta, everything was whatever. And I came in literally like putting, you know, Dick Van Dyke's autobiography down and being like, I'm ready to make a very funny observation about an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Oh gosh, oh golly.
Oh gosh, oh golly.
And have I mentioned, oh gosh.
Oh gosh. And geez. And then I literally like, I had a radio show that year called Y'all, which was me and my friend from Texas as like 2 Southerners in the North. And we used to just play like Texas music on the college radio station. And I was doing theater, and I was so genuine and so sweet. And I was like, this is not where I'm, so I wanted to do improv, and now I'm doing sketch. And then over the break, I like I wrote like 6 sketches in a week or something. And I came back, and there was a series of humor that came into the Oh Gosh, Oh Golly, that there was a brain of sketch that I had, which was a Patrick Doesn't Get It sketch.
Oh.
And so Patrick Doesn't Get It sketches were like someone saying like, I need to piss like a racehorse. And then me saying like, well, I want to go do this like a racehorse. And I'm doing this like a racehorse. And I'm doing this like a racehorse.
That's
and
fun.
Like, it's fun. It's very
I like
stupid.
it. Yeah.
And then we're all going to bat night at the baseball game, and I'm excited to get a fruit bat. You know, it's like, he doesn't get it.
He's the Amelia Bedelia of Emerson's campus.
Amelia Bedelia of Emerson's campus. And so I got kind of really into those and like sketches where there was like a couple looking up at the moon and about how beautiful the moon was, and I was the moon being like, y'all are so cute, look at y'all, oh my god. And I don't even know what the game of that is, but
well, I like the game of that. It's like the irony of like, what if the things that we regard are also regard us in the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love personified thing sketches.
Me too.
Me too. Or scenes. I'm not like a sketch person, but and that's what's funny is I wasn't, and then I fell into it, and I began to realize like, oh, I like sketch because there's certain people in my group. Like there's somebody that like was super special to me. His name is Griff O'Brien, and we were best friends in comedy at Emerson. And what I realized is he was so much funnier than I was, and I was like, oh, we can just like get into stuff, and I can write stuff for him that's funnier than I can do because he's a better performer than I am, and he has like the style that I can't hit. So oh my god, I can like, it's almost like I can improvise with somebody, but I'm improvising inside their head, and they are it's a Cyrano vibe, right? Where it's like, oh, this person can do what I can't do, and I can be part of that if I can help them. Cyrano is such a great description of that. Yeah. You're writing the ideas to be spoken by the better performer or whatever, or the person who can do a different kind of range than you can do.
Right.
True collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
So was Jimmy's mostly sketch, or was it also improv?
It was all sketch.
It was all sketch.
All sketch.
Wow. So you put your improv skills to bed.
I put it away.
Ref shirt was back in Dad's basement.
I mean, it's funny because it's like part of a thing that I have experienced my whole journey of improv, which is like people telling me that I'm not an improviser, and me going, got it, I'll go do this other thing and succeed at this thing, but I do love improv and I'm going to come back to it.
Wow.
And it's such a funny thing that, I mean, no one actively told me that, obviously, in college. I did take like, me and my buddy Griff took like a class at the Improv Asylum because there was a Jimmy's alum that taught over there. And we took like a 101 class that was super fun in Boston. And I'll never forget because there was this old man named Vinny that was this old Boston dude that I think was taking it to kind of learn how to talk to other people in his workplace, I think. And we had to do like this, say your name and make a sound. and he was so rigid and old, and he goes, Vinny, hey. And we were like, that's the craziest sound you can make. Vinny, hey.
Oh, I love him.
I love Vinny.
Oh, God.
I love him so much.
Get him out here. Can we buy him a ticket? I want to be in every indie team with him.
I want Vinny. That's what people don't realize, too, I think, about improvisers. Like, I just did a show last week with somebody who's never done improv, and we were like, be yourself, do your thing, have fun, and just react to what's there. And she was so fun to play with. I think there's this like era of like your first 5 shows, you're incredible to play with. The middle 300 shows, it gets rocky. And then when you kind of realize it, there's a back end of shows that are like so fun to get into.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What those first 5 shows, what do you think it is? The people, dissect that for me.
I think it's just the idea that you are only reacting to what's there because you can't think past what's going on, because everything, you're standing on a highway. If you're with other improvisers who know what's going on, I think if you can just hit what's honest and what's real, you're going to bat 1,000 every single time. And that's what happens with new improvisers, newest improvisers, and specifically improvisers who have never been told they're funny. Because
I was going to say there's a subcategory of people who are like, I'm the funniest guy in my frat and I'll go wing it.
Yeah.
And then they're up there thinking that all they have to do is say a funny line or do a stand-up joke or whatever, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah, but that's not their first improv show, because they've been holding their friends hostage in their improv shows that they don't know are improv shows for years.
Right. They've been smoking a cigarette and pacing around and doing characters and okay, so, but yeah, that idea of, I love that metaphor. You're on a highway, cars are zipping by.
I think so.
You just have to latch on, react honestly, and that's all you have as your lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if all you have is like listening and reacting, you don't have that building brain yet. And then I think once you start building, I think you don't have materials when you start building, and then you have to like build the materials and you have to figure all that stuff out.
What are the materials?
Man, I think...
What's in your toolbox, Patrick?
Okay, well, here's the thing. It's so funny because I've had this weird world of going back and forth with writing, and I think writing is very important. And I will say, I saw the clip with Beck on your podcast talking about writing, and I don't want to be a writer. And I've been thinking a lot about that, where it's like you got to get the writing out of improvisers or out of improvising. And I think that I don't know if I agree. I understand, and that's a crazy thing to say because like Beck's like an unbelievable improviser.
No,
and, like,
please disagree. That's what this is for. Everybody has a different angle and a different way they approach it.
I think you have to like, I definitely see, I'm a genre guy. I like to find a world. I like to find something, set it, and put something on top of it. You know, mapping, genre. Well, like if I can do a full rom-com on stage, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like if we find something. Me and Peter Banifast once were doing improv, and we were like, let's do 2-man, and we'd never done it before. We got on stage and we accidentally just did like all angles of a boxing match. We like did like the hosts, we did coaches, we did like a mockumentary, and we walked up, and I think Billy Merritt was in the audience, and he was like, was that a form? And we were like, nope. We accidentally just kind of realistically depicted a television boxing match. Yeah. And we both were kind of like, oh, whoa. But I like to find that. It's exciting to me. I think that's what makes me a bit of a different improviser than other people sometimes, is that I like the feeling of something being built in front of an audience, but I want the thing to be beautiful. I want it to be Versailles. I want it to be like this gigantic thing that you can't believe we did. I like the feeling of it being a magic trick, but I do think the negative side of that is that it can look like I'm pushing, or it can look like I'm manipulating or fucking with things a little too much that doesn't feel organic. Because there's some match that you have to find, like what's in my head versus what's in your head. Because at the end of the day, if we're doing a scene together and I have this whole idea, but you walk through a wall, that idea is gone. And I'm good with that too.
so there's a fair amount of letting go.
Yeah.
But when you're not letting go in the let's think of it as a quantum physics thing.
Yeah.
In a state where everything's in a superposition, the cat can be alive or dead in the box.
Yeah.
It's waiting and it hasn't been defined yet. Like your kind of writerly instincts and your genre love are thinking of where it can go, and you're building it in your mind. Is that right?
Yeah,
or
I think so.
until it's defined as otherwise, and then you're willing to let go of that.
It definitely feels a little bit like, as I'm talking about it too, is like, what are the genre waves I want to surf? Like, what is the texture? What is the tone? And maybe even if it's just for me and it's not for you, if you don't necessarily know that I'm hearkening to a specific scene in the Coen Brothers remake of True Grit, where like Stephen Root is playing a banker, and I'm just hearkening to that.
Of course I would know that's the scene you're doing. Doy.
But it's like, to me, I'm like, that's what's informing what I'm doing. You might get an ounce of that, and it's okay if it doesn't go that way. But I am fully like recalling something in my library to maybe inform that. And if you catch it, we'll go. But if not, this is just the way my character is.
Then that's your character.
Yeah.
That's fair. And this is interesting. This is a different inroad to character than anyone has talked about on here. Yeah, to use genre or like referencing other media or materials as your own like source for your character or your starting point.
Yeah, well, it also comes from a feeling for me, but that feeling usually attaches to a movie or a product or a style or a genre or somebody I've met or known.
Does the feeling come first?
Yeah, it's like, it's always here. There's always something of like, oh, I have this like...
You're grabbing your chest for the listeners.
I'm grabbing my chest. Yeah.
But in a weird way, your hand is upside down.
My hand
Thumb
is
at the top of the sternum, and the fingers are all pointed down towards the solar plexus area. Okay.
I'm just grabbing it.
Yeah.
It's like a talon. It's more of a talon. It comes from like, it's right between the heart and the stomach. And it is this like, usually like this angst or this, I don't know, there's like some vibe there that like kind of informs people. But I like it's just the flash of a thing, and then I like to fill out the genre of the thing. That might come a lot from, you know, like what we do for, well, actually, no, everybody has a different approach. We'll talk about this, I'm sure, at a later point, but artists, which is the Improv podcast that I do, everybody has, we'll sit down and do an improvised episode of something where we're all playing documentarians, or we're all the cast of a medical procedural, or we're all nude models or something. And for that, there's always a legitimate person or thing or something that I'm envisioning that I am, envisioning that I'm working like, I guess, towards. Like, I'm like, this is the person whose image I'm in. So that allows me to like have opinions. Like if I'm playing a Spielberg type, or I'm playing my brother met that he described this person to me or something like that.
Yeah, I'm similar.
There's always like a model. Yeah.
I can because that's how, like, anytime like I'm not an impressionist, but anytime I'm like telling a story and doing an impression of someone, I'm literally envisioning them and just like translating what I see the image of them. And when I play characters, I often see them. Yeah. Like I'm me, but I'm seeing them.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm like literally envisioning the lady I saw in a documentary last night, and her holding her cigarette and the way she's talking. And I
love that. And that's, to me, like, I think one of the big artists' like dreams is to get to a flow state, right? Where it's like, that's always the goal, to try to find like, I'm not thinking, this thing is thinking, or this thing is happening through me. There's like a TED Talk that I really love of this neurologist. I know. Wait, please. You're going to like it. I promise. It's yours.
I'm listening. And I am a neurologist.
This neurologist did MRIs on jazz musicians improvising on their instruments. And he found that when this musician was improvising, the front of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, which controls judgment and like thought and the criticism, is completely off. And the back of his brain, the activity in the back of your brain, was exploding. and it was just everything. So,
and while you watch the footage of this jazz musician play, you see a mullet growing.
Yes. Yeah.
His hair in front is getting shorter, and the back follicles are so stimulated.
Yeah. You go to Preservation Hall backstage, they all have mullets by the end of their sets. It's crazy.
They're getting scissors out, being like, man, I gotta get my cool back.
There's a mullet wall. It's really cool. Dizzy Gillespie's mullet is hanging there right now.
Man, I've touched it. Dizzy Gillespie's mullet. An Emerson team that's in the newer crop.
It's newer. They do TikToks only.
Only TikToks and all musical based.
Yeah. Dizzy Gillespie's mullet, musical TikTok team. But no, I really do subscribe to the creative, unconscious, the idea that I sometimes imagine there's literally a stream above me and there's and I'm plucking fish from a stream. But I try to think out of the back of my brain. I literally try to push thoughts out of the back of my head or imagine I'm in the back of my head. And then that's where I improvise from.
Wild. And that's a conscious process until it becomes unconscious?
Until it becomes unconscious. But I would always be like, I literally imagine my thoughts going out back this way. Like I literally think they're going out and around to other things. Like I had a voice teacher when I was in high school that used to be like a ball that you would imagine spinning in different places. And I think that's the analogy that attached to me as well. But it's like, I literally like for it to go that way.
Yeah.
And be like, this is not under my control. Because if I'm thinking too much, you can tell. And I've done a lot of like personal joke writing that I want my joke to be subconscious. I also think it's very rare and it can be very challenging. It's probably controversial. I love the idea of writing jokes really fast. It's so fun for me. And I'm like, if I can get a joke in here and I can literally write it, that's like, it can literally murder a scene because it's the opposite of what we're doing. And we've all seen it happen and you've seen me do it, I'm sure. I failed at it many times, but it's really fun if like we can get the rhythm of a joke. Like it's exciting.
Yeah. And I think improv is a place where both work, and ideally it's a zipper where you have the coming together of like the emotional response, but also sometimes a joke, not a joke that sells out the scene or negates your partner,
like
but
specifics,
like
like using a really cool, intense specific, like, okay, I want to do something. I want to toot my own horn, but I want you to toot your own horn too.
Oh, okay.
I want you to talk about something you're really proud of in improv. A scene, like a line that you're proud you came up with. Do you have any?
Not that I can access like this quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Man, I have a terrible memory in that sense. Like,
so funny.
I have a great memory that has a mind of its own. Like it will present memories to me sometimes, but I don't have the key to the library.
So interesting.
The library is just throwing cards at me sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that random thing. But it's like it has to unlock. I can't just like open the library and be like, this thing that I wish to access. Yeah.
That's very similar to our Artists on Artists. We do after shows for our podcast and none of us remember what happens to them.
Of course.
We don't remember what this was. We hope you like it. And then it'll go up. That's the weird thing about filming improv. Because we're like, we have no clue what you're talking about.
But then again, flow state.
It's flow state. That's the goal, right? But I do want to, if the door unlocks, you let me know.
Okay.
But there was something we were doing an episode of Artists on Artists that was like Christian filmmakers, and somebody was telling some story that felt like like a college teacher was in class and somebody stood up in the class and said, "What about God?" And the teacher said, "I never thought that." And that person was Albert Einstein or something. It was one of those types of stories that you see on memes. And a line that came to me so fast was like, "Oh my gosh, I read that on a joke that," sorry, I'm gonna say it again. "Oh my gosh, I read that on a website that gave me a virus." Like that was like the line that I came up with really fast. And I love that because I didn't think of that. I just was like, that's cool that was in there.
Yeah.
Because that makes me laugh so hard.
Yes.
And I sometimes just get so delighted at what is going on in there.
Well, yes.
It's like so cool.
But
I can't believe that because I didn't think that was there and I wasn't planning for that.
But that's improv and that's funny people improvising.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I think there's a difference. I think what Beck is talking about, like so for the listeners, if you haven't listened to Beck Drysdale's episode, she talks about like transitioning from doing what she called like just writing very quickly on stage and transitioning from that into being an actual improviser who was like present and listening and responding. I will argue though that what Beck does is the latter thing, but also she throws in jokes and very clever, lines, and it's not 100%. Like, there's no way you can put a very funny, clever person in an improv scene and have them just never be funny.
Right.
They're going to be funny because you can't take the jokes. Funny out of someone.
She's amazing. She's funny. And also, to be clear, I don't even know her. We don't know each other very well. Right. But I love her, and I've watched so much of what Beck does.
Right.
So
an example, a Beck line that's just like a perfect example of this is someone going, did you hear Miss Maribeth died? And Beck goes, oh my God, where? Like, you can't say that's amazing. Not a joke.
That's writing.
It's a perfect written joke.
But it's present and it's with the other person.
Yes, and it's connected emotionally. So
maybe that is like, my first thought is like, that's the difference between a dependent clause and an independent clause, right? Like the idea, like in language, that like a dependent clause is like, but there's the difference, like, or so. Well, that's not even a sentence. Dependent clause is like, if you could imagine, is an independent, or is a dependent clause because you don't know what that means.
Stand alone.
Yeah,
right.
It's like my daughter's sick, if you could imagine.
Right.
Which is
it
also
depends
not a
on
sentence.
the other half of the sentence in order to provide meaning.
But an independent clause would be like, my daughter is sick. My daughter always gets sick. And then it keeps going. So it's like, the difference is like, you're building dependent clauses in an improv scene because they rely on everything else that's going on. But an independent clause also can sometimes not feel like improv because you're like, well, maybe you thought of that on the way over.
You're so right. Ooh, this is a real epiphany. Yeah,
it's
like
so interesting.
An independent clause or like in joke form is a standalone joke that isn't part of the fabric of the scene and doesn't need everything else there in order to work.
Yeah.
So you're right. It could just be like, oh, is that your tight five on fucking like skirt lengths or whatever?
Yeah.
But yes, a dependent clause like, oh my God, where, as a sentence is not funny.
Right.
But Miss Maribeth died, oh my God, where is hilarious.
It's amazing.
It's so funny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's an epiphany for me too, because I'm like, oh yeah. The times where I thought something was funny and I said it, but it doesn't hit in the room, that's because it doesn't feel right for the scene. It could have come from everywhere. You could have read that on a Laffy Taffy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, it's truly out of nowhere. So like, yeah, it's funny because we're here together. It's funny because it's present. It's funny because it's, you made that up and I'm making this up.
Right. It's part of the fabric.
Yeah.
It's organic to the moment.
Yeah.
But and I would argue in that sense that that kind of joke or fast writing or whatever does also need the emotional connection and the truth. It just can't be the one thing. It has to be the both.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think
it's got to
so.
be the zipper method.
I know. It's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're just reacting honestly and naturally, you can really fall into the crevice of like, well, this is just two people at a bank doing their banking.
Exactly.
There's no scene here and there's no stakes and there's no funny. Why are we entertained by two people literally doing a bank transaction and they're honestly responding, you know, And
that's, I think, stakes is what leads to genre for me, because there's always genre in stakes, because there's always stakes in movies. Unless you're watching My Dinner with Andre or whatever.
Well, but then there's stakes. They're eating steaks.
They're eating steaks.
So
if there are no stakes, they better be eating steaks.
They got to backdoor them in there somehow.
That's insane. Yeah, exactly. So there's stakes no matter what. But I think, it's like there's stakes in a rom-com because, will this person like me? There's stakes in a horror film because, like, will this person kill me? Like,
it's like that. That was a long pause for. No, I know what is the stakes of a horror movie. There's
I know rom-com.
I know Singing in the Rain has stakes.
Singing in the Rain. He's Gene Kelly. That's anyways. Yeah, it's fascinating because I think I lean into genre because, to me, I like for scenes to like be building but not following plot, obviously. Like I think I follow I was on Herald. I've done, I'm mostly a UCB person, if anything. But yeah, I think it's exciting for me to like have a tension of whether or not something will happen. Doesn't mean we have to show that. You can wipe it and edit it and we can never get to it. But I like that there always is something that I am yearning for, striving for, excited about, that keeps me invested.
Yeah.
It matters.
I have 2 questions about the genre thing.
Yeah.
One is, and you can take these in either order. One is, how do you improvise genre without improvising plot?
Yeah.
And the other is, do you ever play scenes that are stripped of genre, that are just like more playing close to yourself, or slice of life? Or I guess the genre would be indie film in that case.
Yeah. Genres, yeah. Slice of life, 70s Altman. No. So the biggest way that I think I play genre specifically without building plot is I have like a little catchphrase that I made up when I started coaching, because you have to, like, when you start coaching, you have to figure out what you even think.
What do you even think,
What do you
man?
even think when someone is staring at you and someone's like, please? And I had a group once of a group of 201 students that were like, you can go hard on us. And I was like, great, you don't know how to do a Herald. I could go hard on you. You don't know what a group scene is. I'm happy to.
Do you want me to sit here and eviscerate you and say you don't even know how to do what you're trying to do? I will.
You don't have the skills. Like, it's totally fine.
Right.
I'll tell you all the things that are wrong. I can go hard on you. But anyways, the big thing I realized is, for me, all my characters, and an easy way to get into a scene is figuring out whether or not the character in the scene is surviving or thriving. And the reason they're surviving or thriving is based on what has happened in their life before. So I think every character, if you're doing a fish out of water scene or you're doing some sort of one person is funny type scene, is either surviving because... Well, I'll start the other way. One character is either thriving because they're exactly where they need to be, and that's so funny. With the Kira Sedgwick as the closer, in many ways, is the funniest thing in the world to me, because she knows exactly how to do it, and she's like, whatever. It's like Gordon Ramsay in fucking Kitchen Nightmares. He's
Your
like,
dream sauce is shit.
It's like hilarious because he's the man.
Bet the bank on this béarnaise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can have scenes like that where like people are brilliant at what they do and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because also we're improvising this and it's funny for you to be a pro because you're not a pro.
Yeah.
Because it just came up. And then there's a version of thriving, or that's thriving. Then there's a version of surviving, which is this person is woefully unprepared and they have to dip into whatever skill set they have. So this is like football coach in a ballerina class type vibes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I think it's really not fun to watch somebody be stupid or bumbling or not know what they're doing, because they would just get fired. And I personally, my dream types of scenes actually are, I always like to say, I like to be in scenes that wouldn't be on the news later. So like, I love an average scene. I love a scene where an alien doesn't come down, or somebody comes out of, like, a lizard comes out of somebody's mouth, or the way improv can get crazy.
Yeah.
I love the idea that I'm in a scene where somebody had a weird interaction on a bus and they might tell it at a dinner party later, but it's not like something so crazy happened that a news reporter would have to show up. I think that's thrilling. And that's like such an exciting line to play with creators, because you can so easily fall into like, we went crazy town.
Right.
And now everybody's wearing dildos as hats or whatever it is.
Okay. You don't have to keep using my shows as examples.
Well, you just hit that scene over and over and people tag you out.
I made those dildo hats and I wanted to use them in the show.
The real hats. And I think that was the downfall. I think you shouldn't spend that much money on an improv show costume piece, but it's up to
dress
you.
for the job you want. But so what you're saying right now doesn't sew together in my brain with what you were saying earlier about big genre swings. Like,
so I think that's what, that would be like my answer to the idea that, like my slice of life scenes.
Gotcha.
That's like actually is what I'm drawn to. But to me, that genre would fall into like an Alexander Payne, Nebraska.
Gotcha. So
like
you
a movie
are
like
still,
that.
no matter what, like if you are playing a grounded, normal slice of life scene, you are still seeing it as like because you relate to movies and are colored by the emotion of movies, you are like in your mind's eye or in your heart's vapors, you're like, we're in Sideways right now. This feels like whatever.
I think not
name an indie film.
fully always. I think I'm just thinking about a scene the other day that like, someone was like, I was in a show where somebody was firing me over Zoom, but they were in like an Airbnb that had like a minion behind them. That was like the basic premise of the scene.
Grounded.
And I was the person being fired, slice of life. But in my head, I was fully imagining the Zoom call. But I think I was imagining also, to get the details, I was imagining a TikTok that I saw recently of somebody getting fired over Zoom. So it's like little things like that where I think I'm using it to fill the room, and I'm using it for the what's next and what are we going to do next. And it's not necessarily I'm on a track, but I'm like, this reminds me of this thing that I've seen. And if I need another specific, I'm going to pull from that thing.
Absolutely. Great.
And that's where it comes from.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we figured it out.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.